This is Time Signatures with Jim Ervin, a podcast and radio program presented by the Capital Area Blues Society in Lansing, Michigan. Most any contemporary musical style can trace its roots back to the blues. Time Signatures explores the blues and its musical connections with captivating interviews, lively discussions, and news from the world of the blues.
You know I'm trying, baby, driving up and down these Michigan roads, yeah.
And now, here he is, your host, Jim Ervin.
Baby, I'm home.
Hey, good evening, everybody. We are coming to you live. It's actually recorded.
Yeah, all right. Recorded live.
Yeah, recorded live. We got a group here from Moriarty's, and man, I got to tell you, I am so excited to be here this evening. I want to thank Joy and Bree, Chrissy, Harmony, and Carolyn. They are working their tails off to take care of the people that are here, and we are so happy to have a nice crowd here this evening. Give yourselves a hand.
Yeah, all right. All right.
So the first thing that people are going to ask is, where did you come up with time signatures for the title of this podcast? I wanted you all to be introduced to a friend of mine who I've known since 1977. We've been very good friends for almost 46 years.
Yep.
Went to grade school at St. Hyacinth's in Bay City and also graduated together from Bay City Central High School. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend Andy Kabbalah. Give him a hand.
Hey, Jim.
So we had a little contest, if you will, to name the podcast because I had a couple ideas and Daedalian wasn't excited about it. I mean, correct?
I dug them. I thought they were all right, but then you threw the time signatures at me, and I was like, all right, I can roll with that.
That wasn't me. That was this guy over here.
Well, you still threw it at me in sex, man. That's all I know.
So Andy Kabbalah came up with time signatures, and I wanted to have him up here for just half a minute and share.
30 seconds?
Yeah.
You said 5.
and
Thank you very much.
Oh, I forgot to turn the switch on there. Now it's all official. So, Andy, tell us a story. I mean, I know your background, but go ahead and share the story of where you came up with time signatures.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you on this idea that you had to do this podcast.
Thank you.
Because you're the type of guy that puts his heart and soul in everything he does. And I know that when you first came up with this idea for this podcast, you were really excited about it. You had a vision in your head. And as long as you follow your heart and do what you want to do, it's going to be great. So when you kind of asked about names, I've been playing the drums as long as I've known you because I started in 7th grade. And I come up with time signatures because when you're playing music or singing music, the basis of it is the time. You know, if you put a piece of sheet music in front of a musician or a singer, the first thing they're going to look at is what time is it in?
Yeah.
So if you can't keep time, it's not going to be a good thing. So I thought the time part would be as far as the music. And in your podcast, you're doing not only the music, but also the people behind the music. I kind of want to get a name that covered both areas. That's where the signatures part come in. And that'll cover the people that provide the music. Because just like when you write a letter and you sign your name to it, any musician that is worth his salt will get up on stage and put their heart and soul into what they do to provide the audience with something that's going to be enjoyable. Right. And every time they perform, you put your signature on what you do on that stage. Whether it's a little bar in town or a 30,000 seat arena, you're putting your signature on everything you do. So I thought time signatures would kind of cover both areas.
Very good. And you know what I liked about it is, like you were talking about, they put their signature on that particular time. And so for me, I've always been one of those people that like to steal little moments of history. And this podcast allows us to do exactly that.
When you threw the name out there, Capital Area Blues Society, part of the goal is the preservation of the blues. And it was the time signatures. And it's capturing time. And as we've been talking about, etching your signature into that piece of time. It was awesome.
And you can hear the music, but when you talk to the person that makes the music, then you can kind of dig into how they feel about it, how they came up with it, why they're doing it. Things that went good, went bad, and it's a fantastic thing, just like talking to an old veteran, listening to their stories. You're listening to musical veterans and hearing their stories, and I just think that's great.
Probably most of you don't know that Andy is a World War II reenactor and happens to have a tremendous respect, as I do, for our military veterans. And I want you to know you're sitting next to a military veteran right now. Freddie served during the World War II era.
Really? Well, thank you for your
No. I'm sorry.
Not that
Did I say
old.
World War II?
Yeah.
All right.
It
Let me
was
fix that right
Vietnam.
there. Vietnam.
Oh, I'm not that old.
So he's
My
gonna throw
grandpa did, though, in World War II.
Vietnam. I'm sorry about that.
No,
man.
it's okay.
You were stationed in Okinawa, correct?
Yeah.
I got that part
Yes,
right.
I was, yeah.
So, Freddie, I wanted to give this to you as a small token of my appreciation, sir. Thank you so much for your service.
Jim, thank you, sir.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I have been carrying these challenge coins. I carry them in my pocket, and whenever I get a chance to meet a vet, whether they're from Vietnam, World War II, it doesn't matter, Korea, I always like to thank them for their service. And my son and
Thank you.
go out and we, wherever we're at, we carry them with us, and when we find them, we thank them for their service and give them a coin. So
I appreciate that.
thank you, sir. How about a big hand for Freddie, ladies and gentlemen?
Thank you.
And also, while you're doing that, give another hand for Andy Kabbalah. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks,
You're all
Jim.
set?
Good luck on everything.
So that was a pretty good way to lead into our next portion of our get-together here. We are joined by the two chief founding members of the Root Doctor Band, who y'all know who they are. They've been around for 30-plus years. And you guys have been retired for what, almost 2 years now?
Almost 2 years.
Yeah, it is going on 2 years.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Right. I know.
I remember being on the boat with you on the last show.
Oh, yeah. Well, time passes when you're having fun.
32 years of fun, man.
32 years of fun.
Yeah.
And we are so honored to have Freddie Cunningham with us, and also James L. Williams. How to be a big hand for them.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We are so glad to have you. Guys, we're just going to dive in here and start talking a little bit about your music and how things started with the Root Doctor Band. I mean, you guys were, in my opinion, I think you were destined to be the Root Doctor Band. And Freddie, let me start with you, man. And feel free, James, to jump in.
Oh,
and we are
sure.
joined here by Marge. Hi, Marge.
Hello.
You got the cowbell?
I got the cowbell.
Let's see it. Put it on the table, girl. She brought the cowbell. Who knows about the cowbell in here, huh? Wow. There you go, the famous cowbell. It's been a while. But I definitely want you to talk about, first of all, your initial, who is your biggest influence when you were growing up, when you were getting into music?
It's really funny that you asked me that, because when I read the biography of Ray Charles, he started off and he wanted to be Joe Williams, he wanted to be T-Bone Walker, he wanted to be this and that, and he finally realized that he had to be himself, because he couldn't be all these people. So I was like that. My probably earliest recollections were like Nat King Cole, Charles Brown, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, Clara Boyd singers. My mom was a big Clara Boyd fan.
Okay.
Right there, again, I had to figure out who I was going to be. And, finally, I said, I have to be who I'm going to be.
Right.
I can't be those people, because I can't sing that high, I can't sing that low.
I remember talking to you earlier, and you mentioned your first recollection being when you were just a young man and you wanted to be in the choir.
Oh, I was in the choir.
Okay.
I was born in the choir.
Okay.
I mean, no, that my mom was. She probably sang in the choir until she couldn't sing because she was having me. And from what I understand, I raised quite a bit of sand when I couldn't sing in the choir, being 2 years old, 3 years old. So I was in the choir when I was born.
So that bug bit you early, didn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
James, how about you, man? Talk about your first the first time the music bug bit you.
Man, that's going back a few years for sure. I was born in my grandfather's house in Nude, Mississippi. And he had a piano there and that he used to play. And so that's when music was starting to get in my head. And also my older brother, Lamar Williams, him and I was born in my grandfather's house. So then we moved down to Gulfport, Mississippi. That's where I was starting to get into more music. I was hearing my father, he was a gospel singer, and I used to hear him live on the radio every Sunday. The name of his band was the Deep South, and it was a great band, and they did it live, and so that was a big influence on me. And and as I was growing up, fifth grade, I got to play drums, and from the fifth grade on through middle school and high school, I was playing concert music. I was also singing in the choir. And then later on, I was doing the swing band thing, because my brother Lamar, he plays bass. He was a fantastic bass player. And after watching him at 14, 15 years old, he was playing with older musicians in the Gulf Coast. From there, wow, I said, man, those guys are jamming. He was playing with a drummer named J-Mo. He was playing with Percy Sled, Otis Redding. Wow. But him and Lamar was playing in a local band. And then eventually from there, J-Mo started playing with the Allman Brothers Band. And he was recommending to Dwayne Allman, that Lamar would be a great bass player to have for the band. But Lamar got drafted and he went to Vietnam. After his duty in Vietnam and the incidents that happened to a couple of members, Lamar got an opportunity to audition. Greg Allman had his guy audition, and they had 3 or 4 bass players. But after 2 songs, Bush Truck said, come on, guys, let's go back. He said, as far as I'm concerned, this audition is over, So then Lamar got to show the gig with the Allman Brothers Band, and his first album was Brothers and Sisters. He completed that album, except 2 songs. Lamar was a big, heavy influence in me playing bass guitar. So here we are.
Okay, so just to be clear, and so the people that are listening, they actually have an idea. So, Freddie, go ahead and give people an idea of what you did for Root Doctor, what your role was in Root Doctor for so many years.
Oh, well, to begin with, Mike Scory called me. I had never met Mike. I kind of knew the name.
Yeah.
Scory out of sound.
Yeah. So anybody that's not from Lansing, Mike Scory, he's a keyboard player, and of course, for many years had Scory Auto Sound. It was a car stereo place.
Car stereo.
And of course, car stereos. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore, is it?
No, I mean, no. With that.
But back in the day, he used to be Scory Auto Sound.
Back in the day, you had, you could get your custom auto sound.
Right.
Like. Speakers in the trunk and the big woofers and the pop up and down.
So he reached out to you?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Mike, he called me one day and he said, hey, you want to start a band?
Really?
Yeah, and I said, sure.
He had a gig, but he didn't have a band.
Well, I didn't have a gig, actually.
No, Mike Scory had the gig.
Oh, Mike Scory.
Then he got you guys together.
Yeah, he talked to the guy.
Okay, now I don't think I need to clarify that these two are married at all.
Well, no, not at all.
So there's that.
Yeah, well, anyway, if you remember Tangos.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, in the Naps building downtown. So anyway, Mike had talked to the guy at Tangos, and the guy said to him, if you have a band, we'll see what we can do about it. And so Mike says, sure, I got a band. We've been playing together for a while. And so after he left that guy, he called me and he said, you want to start a band? And I said, sure. And meanwhile, we had been jamming like every Thursday night when Gregory's was in the garage down under the parking ramp, Capitol Avenue there. And Scott Allman had been coming in there. I knew him, and there was a band at that time. They were on their last legs called Mad Dog in the Pack, and James was the bass player in that band. And I knew him, and we came from there. And so Mike was a keyboard player. I was a singer. I knew Scott. Scott knew Dick Rosemont, owner of Fat Black and Circular.
Yep.
Yeah, and I, like I said, I knew James, and we practiced in my basement, I think, for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Every night for 2 weeks.
Didn't think it'd be 32 years, did you?
We practiced for 2 weeks. We went to we went down the Tangos, and we played the gig. Well, we played all the songs that we knew. And he says, well, you have to play another set. We don't know another set. He says, well, play it in reverse. So we did that. And, I'm thinking, okay, we got this gig. Going through it, I'm thinking 6 months, a year, 32, 33 years later, and 1, 2, 3 guitar players.
A lot of folks.
Lots of fun.
Yeah,
A lot of folks. I can tell you in
Yeah.
the time that I've known you guys, you've had some turnover here and there.
Oh, yeah.
But, always phenomenal players in the band.
And I kind of wanted to use that as a springboard to the next question. Maybe James can jump in here with a little bit. Is you guys have had, like he just said, you've had some phenomenal members of the Root Doctor band. Mm-hmm. Your sound has always been consistent through the years. Mm-hmm. My very first time hearing you guys play was when you opened for Cheap Trick right down the road here at the Lansing Center.
Oh boy!
But
I remember that.
James, you had some of the creme de la creme here in the Lansing area, not just Mike Scory, but you've had so many big names, that have come across your path and been a part of the Root Doctor band. Talk about those names a little bit.
I should have wrote some of them down.
Steve Ferrari.
We had guys, we fortunate enough to get some good musicians around here in town, and they wanted to play with the band. We even have Oric was playing drums, and he's a fantastic bass player.
Now that's a story within itself. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you that later.
Let me see, who are some other members there? Marge,
John Fitzgerald,
he
keyboard
was
player.
keyboard player.
Yeah.
And we had John Barrera.
Drummer.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Alfredson.
Yeah.
Jim Everson came in.
Jimmy Alfredson played with us for 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. And
He was just a kid back then, wasn't he?
Yeah.
you know what? It's
About 20 years old.
actually
Yeah.
He was
when we
21.
played some of the gigs, he wasn't really legal to be when we first started. But he was in the band, so it was okay.
Sure.
So
Steve Ferrari.
yeah, Steve Ferrari,
Phenomenal guitar player.
right? And another drummer friend of ours, Chico Garza,
Bob
Bob
Gardner.
Bobby Gardner.
You're getting some names from out here in the audience
yeah,
now.
yeah, people.
Following you guys as long as you've been in the band.
Yeah, exactly.
We had a couple of more in there.
Oh
that comes
yeah,
to mind.
Matthew Hayes. Oh, Rick Bowl was the drummer for us. He did, as a matter of fact, he was on our, what album was that?
Was that the first
Change
CD?
Our Ways.
Change Our Ways.
yeah.
Album.
What was your original name?
The original name of the band was the Downtown Blues Band.
Good question.
Town Blues Band or Downtown Blues Band?
Well, because of because of the confusion, with the Uptown Band and the Downtown Band, so people would come to see us thinking they're going to see them, and vice versa. There was an interesting story behind that.
Well,
you kind of know.
Well, we all decided to write a name down and put it in a hat. And so up came Root Doctor.
Yeah,
And yeah.
yeah. And that was John Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
That was his name for the band.
Okay.
And
That was the name of the song they were playing at the time.
and then that was the name of the song that we're playing. Frank Ace,
Buddy.
Ace. Yeah.
Well, you guys have shared the stage with some of the biggest names in blues. Talk about that just a little bit. James, who's your favorite, man, that you guys shared the stage with?
Oh, man, we had Larry McCrae, Buddy Guy. We actually had played the first blues festival here in Lansing.
Koko Taylor.
Koko Taylor was there. I'm trying to think of just one harmonica player.
Hank Mowry was a harmonica. That was when Hank first started. We had to kind of tell him when the change was. Almost. It was he, but he was a really good player, but he was just raw back then, and that was the first Lansing Blues Festival, because it was down in where Adado Park is now.
Messing with the Kid. Who put that song up?
Walter.
Junior Wells.
Junior Wells.
Yeah.
Yeah, Junior Wells.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way I was trying to think of.
So you had the opportunity to play with Junior Wells, is what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, twice, actually. We played with him in
Yeah.
Grand Rapids.
and then one time in Novi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you guys also opened for Ray Charles, didn't you?
Yep.
Ray Charles one night, yeah,
At
and
the Wharton Center.
Little Richard. We opened for him one night.
I thought I saw Tab Benoit on the list.
Tab Benoit. Oh, the State Theater is a beautiful venue. My goodness. Yeah, we played there a couple of times, and I enjoyed it so much. It's just such a nice stage. Such acoustics in that building.
Yeah, that was a great concert.
And, yeah, I enjoyed that.
And we got a chance to play the Ann Arbor Blues Festival as well back in the early days.
Right, back in the early days.
We had Buddy Miles was there.
Joanna Connor.
The Joanna Connor was there one night, right?
It was
And
several other.
and we did the auditorium when B.B. King was in town. Yeah,
That's cool.
Larry McRae and us and B.B. were on the bill. Yeah.
Well, you are listening to Time Signatures. We have got our guest, Freddie Cunningham here. We've got James L. Williams. We've got Marge Mooney. It's kind of been an exciting ride for you, too, hasn't it?
It's been a lot of work. I did some managing, and then I didn't do some managing, and then I did some managing again. Got to meet a lot of managers of restaurants to get gigs, and lots of music behind the scenes people. It's been fun.
You did a lot of work, Marge. Thank you.
Yeah.
She did.
And everybody loves Marge. Everybody.
All right.
Absolutely.
So come on, guys. Tell me one good road story that something went wrong. Just not a good time. Something
gosh.
bad. I mean, we're hearing about the good stuff, and I know there were some bad times there.
There was one winter near the Olympics, and there was someplace on the west side of the state that has a luge. It was Olympic time, and they were doing some kind of a benefit. There was someone from Michigan in the Olympics, and you can ride the luge out there. But it was not that snowy, but it was cold and rainy. We were in a tent. They ran out of gas for the heater.
Was this an outdoor gig?
This was an outdoor gig.
This was an outdoor gig.
Outdoor gig in the mud.
Propane.
So they had, I think, little square pieces of wood for the band to set up on.
On pallets.
On pallets.
On pallets together. That was the stage.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anybody there. So they asked us if they had to pay us since nobody was there.
And after
we
we
only
ripped
played
into
a set.
Muskegon.
Holy cow.
So I think that is my all-time worst day, followed by the time that a drummer got lost, couldn't find the gig. So somebody in the bar we were at.
Is this a drummer we know?
No, we won't say it. We won't say that.
I forgot.
No, we don't. No, you don't know me.
Somebody sat in playing drums on a 5-gallon plastic jug.
Oh my, seriously?
Seriously.
Wow.
So we ended up doing okay.
I mean, that's the show must go on right there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That guy came up with some bloody hands by the end of the night.
I would imagine.
He ended up playing on one of those white cans.
Yeah.
Hey.
Were you guys all playing electric at the same time? Did you do it acoustic? What'd you do?
we had to play it really low because nobody nobody had acoustic. You know, it was electric or nothing. But
That was another one on the west side of the state.
yeah,
Yeah, west side of the state, yeah.
yeah. One of the nights was we were playing this gig and it was a beautiful, beautiful night, and it was on the shores of Lake Michigan.
Oh, he's painting a picture for this one. I'm ready for this.
No, we're looking, out, and we did the show, and everything was great, and we got all done. And James stepped on I don't know, some kind of metal thing and whacked his toe all out. And it was, that wasn't good. But, hey.
I forgot all about that.
You take the bitter, you take the bitter with the sweet.
It was a rough start. You blocked that stuff out of your memory, man.
I'm getting triggered.
Yeah.
Little PTSD going on there.
Yeah, you take the bitter with the sweet.
Absolutely. Is there anybody in your mind you wish you would have been able to play with on the stage, open for? Any opportunity you feel you missed along the way?
Oh, there were a lot of people I wish I'd, been able to play with. Ray. Although I don't know, from what I hear, he was kind of persnickety, but, he was such a talent. Yeah, I'd have loved to, hit a note or two with him.
Yeah.
James?
I wouldn't mind, I've played a show with the Allman Brothers Band, it was something that I used to go to early shows when my brother was playing, And I was on stage watching them from the sideline, and
But you never got a chance to jam with them.
no,
This close, man. This
but
close.
I remember all the energy was going between the band and 50,000 people out there, you know, and I'm in between it. I'm just feeling it and seeing it. That was fantastic.
Yeah, we had one night that we went to DTE.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we were able to go backstage with Allman Brothers and meet some of the people and stuff, and it was pretty exciting. Yeah.
So after 32 years, what do you think the biggest accomplishment of Root Doctor was?
Biggest accomplishment?
Yep.
Being together for 32 years. I mean,
That and also putting out CDs. How many did we make? Six. Yeah. So
And I have all of them.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks to Marge, she put one on a flash drive for me. So that's all number 6.
I bet you that yellow one wasn't it?
Yes, it is.
That was a live album, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In front of 20,000 people. So that was kind of a cool show.
That is a treasured gift. I want you to know that I'll keep that pen for the rest of my life.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Let's get to the cowbell real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Why the cowbell? You had to bring it up.
Come on,
What's
Marge.
the story?
You brought it up. I don't know why you wanted me to bring it.
Well, why the cowbell? Come on, you got to tell us.
When
We
you
have a
just,
song.
yeah, go ahead.
We have a song called Dark Eyes that's
Mike Scory.
Mike Scory what?
Mike Scory and Bill
Malone
wrote
the song.
Yes. Bill
Dark
Malone
Eyes,
came
yeah.
up with the... Anyway.
The bass line?
Yes.
Yes.
So we were in concert, and there's a definite need for the cowbell.
No, I guess it's a guitar riff that he came up with, isn't it?
Yeah. And so they were playing it in concert once, and Freddie was trying to do it, and I could see he was struggling with the singing and playing of it at the same time. So I grabbed the cowbell from him, and I started playing it. So that's been usually the end of the night song.
Yeah.
Right. So
me playing cowbell.
you're the inspiration for the Saturday Night Live skit, is what you're saying, right?
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
I played the cowbell in the studio, but playing the bass, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
So let Marge do it, you know.
Right.
And
So she watched Christopher Walken and then
I think I had it down after that, right?
She had it down.
I need more cowbell. All right, so this episode of Time Signatures recorded at Moriarty's on Michigan Avenue. You can always get more information from them on Facebook if you want to check them out.
Absolutely. We want to thank Freddie for being with us, also James L. Williams and Marge.
Thank you.
And we look forward to speaking with you again on the next episode. So
All right.
Big
hang around,
thanks
everybody.
to the
How
folks
about
hanging out with us, too.
How about a big hand?
Thank you.
This has been Time Signatures with Jim Ervin, presented by the Capital Area Blues Society in Lansing, Michigan. For more information on cabs, visit capitalareablues.org. You can find this episode and past episodes at lccconnect.org. The Time Signatures theme song, Michigan Roads, is used by permission and was written by Root Doctor, featuring Freddie Cunningham.
You know I'm trying, baby, driving up and down these Michigan roads, yeah.
Until next time, keep on keeping the blues alive.